The Mustang was my soul, and that scratch was a knife to my heart. Karen from down the street thought her fake HOA badge gave her the right to ruin it. It was a Saturday morning, the kind where the sun feels like it's personally blessing your day. I was polishing my 1967 Mustang Fastback, a cherry-red beauty I'd spent 6 years restoring. Every curve of that car was a love letter to my late dad, who'd taught me how to wrench before cancer took him. The neighborhood was quiet, kids on bikes, sprinklers hissing until Karen strutted up, her floral dress screaming self-appointed authority. She clutched a clipboard with a forged HOA letterhead. Her lips pursed like she just sucked a lemon. "Your car's parked 2 inches over the line," she snapped, pointing at my driveway. I laughed. Big mistake. Her eyes narrowed, and I swear I saw her fingers twitch toward the keyring dangling from her purse. Karen wasn't the HOA president. Hell, our neighborhood didn't even have an HOA. But Karen had been waging her one-woman crusade for years, taping passive-aggressive notes on mailboxes, lecturing kids about skateboards, and once trying to fine Mrs. Lopez for her tacky, flamingo lawn ornaments. Nobody challenged her because it was easier to nod and move on. But this was my Mustang, my dad's dream, my line in the sand. I stepped forward, wiping my hands on a rag. "Karen, there's no HOA. You're not the boss of my driveway." Her smirk was venomous. "We'll see about that," she said, and before I could blink, she dragged her key across my Mustang's hoodah slow, deliberate screech that echoed like a scream. My heart stopped. The scratch was a foot long, a jagged scar through the perfect red paint. Neighbors froze. Kids dropped their bikes. I lunged, but Tom, the guy next door, grabbed my arm. "Don't do it, Mike," he whispered, his voice shaky. Karen just stood there, triumphant, like she'd won some imaginary war. I was shaking, not just with anger but with the weight of what that car meant. Dad used to say, "A man's car is his story." Mine was now defaced by a petty tyrant. I could have called the cops, but Karen would have spun either word against mine. No cameras, no proof. Instead, I did something reckless. I posted about it on the neighborhood's private Facebook group, attaching a photo of the scratch and a simple caption. "Karen from 1423 faked an HOA notice and keyed my Mustang. Anyone else had enough?" I didn't expect the avalanche that followed. Within hours, the post had 200 comments. Neighbors I barely knew spilled their Karen stories. Fake fines for unapproved mailboxes, threats to tow cars for improper parking, even a forged letter demanding a family remove their basketball hoop. People were livid. By evening, a crowd of 30 gathered outside Karen's house. Not with pitchforks but with phones, recording her every move. She stepped onto her porch, clipboard still in hand, and tried her usual spiel. "This is a violation of community standards," she barked. Someone yelled back, "You're not the HOA, Karen." The crowd roared. Tom, ever the peacemaker, tried to calm things down. "Let's talk this out," he pleaded, standing between Karen and the mob. But the tension was electric. A teenager, emboldened by the crowd, posted a TikTok of Karen's fake HOA letters, dug up from a neighbor's trash. It went viral. 100,000 views by midnight. The internet dubbed her Keychain Karen, and memes flooded X. One showed her face photoshopped onto a cartoon villain, captioned, "When your HOA power trip scratches the wrong car." Karen's husband, a quiet guy who'd always seemed embarrassed by her, finally cracked. He stormed out, red-faced, and shouted, "She's been lying to all of you. There's no HO. She made it all up." The crowd gasped. Karen's smirk vanished. She tried to retreat inside, but someone had already called the local news. A reporter showed up, camera rolling, as neighbors chanted, "No more Karen." It was chaos, but it wasn't over. The next morning, I found a handwritten apology taped to my Mustang. "I'm sorry for the damage. I'll pay for repairs." It read, signed by Karen. No excuses, no fake HOA nonsense, just defeat. I should have felt vindicated, but it was hollow. The scratch could be fixed, but the betrayal of trust, the violation of something sacred, lingered. I took the note to the police, who confirmed Karen's key matched the scratch. She was charged with vandalism, a misdemeanor, but the real punishment was public. Her face was plastered across local news, X, and every group chat in town. Her husband moved out a week later. Karen's house went up for sale by month's end. I got the Mustang repainted, but every time I ran my hand over the hood, I felt that scar. It wasn't just about the car, Anna Maria, it was about how one person's need for control could ripple through a community, breaking bonds that had taken years to build. Tom stopped by one day, looking weary. "I tried to stay neutral," he said. "But she crossed a line." I nodded. He was right, but I wondered if I'd crossed one too, unleashing the mob like that. The neighborhood felt different now, freer, but fractured. People waved at me, called me a hero, but I didn't feel like one. I just wanted my dad's car to be whole again. The viral storm faded, but the lessons didn't. Karen's karma was instant, public, and brutal, but it came at a cost. We'd exposed her lies, but we'd also exposed how fragile our little community was. I still drive the Mustang, and every shine on its hood reminds me of Dad and of the day a fake HOA letter turned neighbors into a mob. It's strange how a single scratch can reveal so much about who we are when pushed too far. What do you think? Did Karen deserve her public downfall, or did the neighborhood go too far? Share your thoughts on justice, community, or how far you'd go to protect what matters to you.